Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to look at the Combat Patrol Aeldari and how we can use it to start an Aeldari force in Warhammer 40k. If you're just getting into Warhammer 40k or you are getting into a new faction for Warhammer 40k, hopefully this video will show you how you can use this box to create a fun and interesting and decent army on the tabletop for the Aeldari. In the video, we'll talk about all the contents in this box set to begin with, then we'll look at some ways and other units we can bring into the force to expand upon this box set, and finally give you a 1000 point sample army list at the end of the video for you to get some inspiration to create your own army list, or indeed copy ours if that's what you wish to do. With all of that said, let's begin by talking about what we get inside this box set. And so for starters, we get a HQ option, which is the Farseer. Farseers are Eldar Psykers, and if the narrative is to be believed, one of the greatest Psykers in all of the galaxy. For his nice points value of 90 points, you're going to get a pretty decent Psyker. 2+ to hit with both weapon skill and ballistic skill, 7-inch move, 5 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 9, only a 6-up save, and movement of 7. He does have some cool abilities otherwise. His rune armor will give him a 4-up invulnerable save, and the ghost helm means he'll never suffer from perils of the warp. So a Psyker that has none of the negatives. Runes of the Farseer allow him to, at the start of each battle round, after making a Strands of Fate roll, but before selecting which of those dice to retain, each Farseer model from your army that is on the battlefield and not within engagement range of enemy units can re-roll one of the dice. He's also got his Witchblade, which is really nice to have, which he can swap for a Singing Spear if he wants. But the Witchblade is AP -1, damage 2, and each time an attack is made with this weapon and a modified roll of 2+ is always successful. So pretty good at trying to wound some higher toughness 2-wound models there. Though, remembering he only has 2 attacks, and really, you're not wanting him in combat. Farseers have an array of psychic powers at their disposal as well. He's got access to 2 particular rune laws, which are Runes of Fortune and Runes of Fate, and this can give him access from damage dealing to protective spells to buffs and debuffs. So many different things you can use the Farseer for. He is just a great toolbox character, and no matter what sort of slot you want in your army, a Farseer can fill that void. Now, alongside the Farseer, we get a troops choice inside this box set, and that will be the brand new Guardian box set. Guardians are the core of pretty much every Eldar army. They're your citizen warriors, pretty much. Now, Guardians can be built in one of 2 varieties. They can either be built as Guardian Defenders, or they can be built as Storm Guardians. Both of these are available to be built with the box set. The one you can see here pictured are Guardian Defenders. They'll get a heavy weapon platform. Meanwhile, the Storm Guardians will get a cool platform that goes around with them, containing a nice invulnerable save for them. For me, I really like Guardian Defenders. I think being able to have a solid, fast-moving troops choice is really nice. Remember, movement 7 is pretty much standard for Eldar. Not to mention you've got all your abilities to sort of move after shooting and stuff like that. But your defenders as well will, while this unit's within range of an objective marker, each one of this unit makes a ranged attack with a shuriken weapon. You can reroll hit rolls of 1. So getting some rerolls while you're near objectives makes this unit a great unit for holding objectives. Not only that, but you can put the heavy weapon in here to give a heavy weapon reroll 1. Something like a Bright Lance with rerolls to 1 is pretty nice, considering the unit is hitting on a 3-up. Now, you've also got the option for Storm Guardians. Now, as the name would suggest, they're better at storming places. They're a much more offensive unit. You can equip them with specialist weapons like Aeldari Flamers, and you can also give them things like Aeldari Power Swords and close combat weapons as well to get some more killing done in close combat. Pretty solid stuff. I really do prefer the Guardian Defenders, and I think when starting Eldar, they probably are the better choice. Now, going alongside them, we are going to get 6 Wind Rider jet bikes. These are your stock standard jet bikes for the Eldar army, and they're pretty decent. These can be called up to be really good marine killers. Now, Wind Rider jet bikes have a few different weapon options that they can take throughout all their options. They will start with the Twin Link Shuriken catapults, though they can also be upgraded to have either the shuriken cannons or scatter lasers, and it's the aforementioned weapon there, the shuriken cannons, which I particularly like. These can be great marine killers. They've got the shuriken rule, meaning they can get some extra AP when they roll 6 into wound, but on top of that as well, they're also just AP -1 damage 2 straight away, making them great for being marine killers. Ride the Wind is an amazing rule when combined with the fact the unit has a 16-inch move standard. This is going to allow them, anytime they make an advance roll, to simply move 6-inch instead of rolling the dice. Swift Demise as well is a cool rule if you choose to go the route of having the twin-link shuriken catapults on the unit, as this will allow them to reroll hit rolls of 1 if they're targeting enemy units near objectives. Great if your opponent's trying to hold objectives with things like Terrainheim, holding objectives with some of the lesser demons, or potentially even things like Chaos Cultists. All those one-wing models may be a good way to clear the hordes. Now lastly, for options here, we have the Wraith Knight. This is a giant Wraith construct available to the army, and he is an elite choice for us. Now, the cool thing about a Wraith Knight is that he's going to add some much needed muscle to the rest of the force. We haven't really got an awful lot of sort of big hard hitters in the force here, so a Wraith Knight is definitely going to fill that slot very well. And so, what do we get with a Wraith Knight? We're going to have a movement 8 walker that's got weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, and he's got strength 7, toughness 8, and 9 wounds. Pretty solid stuff. He's got access to a couple of different weapon options where he can have either shuriken catapults or Aeldari flamers on his wrists, and he can also have a variety of different heavy weapons mounted atop his shoulders, or indeed on his arms as well. He can carry a Ghost Glaive, which is a weapon which have a few different loadout options that he can use. Its Crushing Strike will have him at +2 strength, -4 AP, damage D3 +3. So pretty nice there. For me, the Wraith Knight, I like putting some anti-tank weaponry on him, giving him a Ghost Glaive and sending him to go do some killing, potentially maybe with some flamers on the side to really give him a jack of all trades role in this force. With that all said though, that's all the units that come inside this box set, so let's look at some other units we can use to expand upon our force. And so, let's look at some units we can use to expand upon our force. First of all, I really like Dire Avengers. Dire Avengers are one of the many different aspect warriors we have available to us, but I really do like them. In the new book, they're an elite's choice, so they've got access to their Avenger Shuriken catapults, which are a little bit better than your standard Shuriken catapult, having an AP -2 standard, but still having that awesome Shuriken rule, meaning that these guys can be insane marine shredders or any other sort of heavy armored infantry shredders. You've got a bunch of different options for them in the form of their X-Arch, which can have a bunch of different X-Arch powers, including having the Shuriken rule go off on a 5+, and having the ability to give the unit objectives secured as well. So some really solid stuff there. On top of that, you've got Aspect Armor, meaning they've all got a 5-up invulnerable save, which is really nice, and Defensive Tactics will allow this unit, while it contains a Dire Avenger X-Arch, if the unit is performing an action, it can still make attacks with ranged weapons without that action failing, so a really useful unit to have. Now, they also just have some solid stats all round. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 3, nothing to write home about, but leadership 8 and a base 4-up save and movement 7 are all pretty nice. Alongside them, I'd recommend grabbing a Wave Serpent. This is definitely going to increase the potential of a lot of different units inside your Eldar force. The Wave Serpent is the dedicated transport option of the Eldar, and so you can equip it with quite a few different options. It'll start off as well with the Wave Serpent Shield, which will give it a 5-up invulnerable save, and each time a ranged attack is made against this model, and a modified wound roll of a 1 to 3 automatically fails against this model. So some pretty good defense for transport straight away. It can have a variety of different heavy weaponry on top, and can also include to have either twin-link shuriken catapults or a shuriken cannon underslung over its carapace. You've got other different wargear options in the form of the Crystal Targeting Matrix, where each time this mod makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any and all modifiers to the hit roll, and you can also give it Star Engines to add 3-inch to its base movement, which is 16. So a 19-inch flying transport able to teleport your units around the battlefield is really, really good. Next up, let's look at some different HQ options we can bring into the force, the first of them being the Autarch. This is your more martial option for your HQ. The Autarch will provide you with a great sort of martial hero. He's got some different war gear options in a ton of different things. Effectively, if an aspect warrior can take something, there's a good chance the Autarch can take it. You've got 2 different Autarch kits, and you can freely combine the 2 to make any Autarch you could ever dream of. He's got some cool abilities like Path to Command, which is an aura where if he chooses to use this, while a friendly Craftwell core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll of 1. He's got a 4-up invulnerable save thanks to his Force Shield, and his superlative strategist ability allows him to, while any unit from your army is on the battlefield or embarked within a transport that is on that has this, you can re-roll the command stratagem, re-roll twice during each phase instead of only once. So you can get an extra re-roll each phase, which is really, really cool. And it's another cool option. Let's talk spirits here, because we have got a Wraith construct in the army, so if that's something you like, the idea of going down a path, having more of spirits here could be a really cool option. Rune Armor will give them a 4-up invulnerable save, but their real thing comes from the Spirit Mark, which is an aura ability coming out of them, allows them to craft with Spirit Host core units within 6 inch, reroll wound rolls of 1. This includes, of course, the Wraith Lord we get in the starter box. He's also a Psychic who can get some Psychic powers, and his Witch Staff is AP-1, damage D3, although only 2 attacks. Once again, he's not really meant for combat. But that's some great units we can use to add into our Aeldari force we've got in the starter box. So now we're going to look at a 1000 point sample army list, combining all this information together to see how we can build an Aeldari force on the tabletop. Alrighty, and so here we have a little sample army list for you for the Aeldari. Now, we're in a patrol detachment. This is going to cost us 0 command points because our warlord is in this detachment. That's the only one we're going to need. The army is around 1000 points, and it comes to a power level of 46, so pretty good for 50 power level games if that's something you're aiming for as well. We're going to be from the Biltan, the Swordwind Craftworld, and this is going to give us a few different things. First of all, we're going to get the attribute Swordwind, where each time a model with this attribute advances or makes a battle-focused move, you treat the rolls of 1 and 2 as a 3 instead. Pretty cool. And each time a unit with this attribute is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll when resolving that unit's attacks. So pretty cool stuff there, just to give us some extra sort of movement and a couple of extra hits across the board, hopefully. We're going to get a Warlord trait that is going to go on our Warlord, obviously. Where in your command phase you can select one friendly Biltan core unit within 6 inches of this Warlord. Until the end of that turn, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. So pretty cool stuff, getting some re-rolls to hit there is nice. And then we've got a Relic, which is also going to go on our Farseer, being our only HQ option we've chosen to take, which actually has to go on a Psychic anyway, and the bearer can know an additional Psychic power from their chosen discipline. We've not picked one in here because there are a few different options you could definitely take, but I've put down my 2 main ones. And once per Psychic phase, you can reroll a Psychic test from the bearer as well. We also get the Wrath of the Shrines, which is a command ability we can use. For 1 command point, we can use this to get some extra hits on exploding 6s on one of our Aspect Warrior units. Now, looking at our Farseer, I've gone for Doom and Fortune as the 2 second powers, and like we said, we've got an extra option here thanks to the Spirit Stone of Anathlan. I'm pretty sure I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but Doom is reroll wounds against the target enemy unit we pick, and Fortune is giving us some defensive abilities. Now, we've gone for troops-wise 2 units of Guardian Defenders. These units will be our sort of hub and our base, and we've gone to put a Bright Lance in each one for some good anti-tank and anti-heavy unit ability. In our elite slots, we've chosen to take both of them, and we've got a unit of Dire Avengers in here, which has got 9 of them, and then we've got Dire Avenger Exarch with Shredding Fire and Twin Avenger Shuriken Catapults. The Dire Avenger Exarch Shredding Fire ability will allow their Shuriken weapon ability to go on a 5 instead of 6, really just upping the damage potential of the unit. The Wraith Lord here, like I said, 2 Aeldari Flamers, 2 Bright Lancers, and the Ghostglaive here give him a sort of all-round toolbox ability use. His Bright Lancers and Ghostglaive will help him do some damage in combat and against both heavily armoured things. Bright Lancers really good at anti-tank, and then his Aeldari Flamers, in case he gets stuck into a horde, can hopefully help him clear out some of that. In our fast attack, we've got 6 Wind Riders, and we've gone for Shuriken Cannons on the whole unit. This is just going to be a unit that's going to fly around and try and deal with some Space Marine style armor units in the game, and if we're playing Space Marines, they can pretty much go after whatever they want. And then lastly, a dedicated transport of a Wave Serpent with Star Engines for that extra 3-inch move, some more Bright Lancers, and a Shuriken Cannon underslung. This all comes to a perfect 1,000 points, and I think we've got some good anti-tanks, some good infantry, some heavy infantry killers, as well as some good objective holders, and some nice abilities to spread across the army. We can use our Farseer in a few different ways to sort of give bonuses to either defenders, although I think putting him with the Dire Avengers to really make the most out of all his abilities is probably the best way to make that nice killing unit that'll go in and probably take out some heavily armoured infantry nicely. With that said, that is everything we've got. If you've been playing Aeldari in the newer book, let us know how you've been going and what you've been doing and what you would do with the starter box for Warhammer 40k Aeldari with a combat patrol. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the video's description to our Discord server. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so either via Patreon or YouTube members, and both of those are linked again down in the video's description. As a special thanks to all our Patreon and YouTube members, I'd like to give a shout out to them all. So a special thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dynet226 and Derek. And a special shout out to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Locklorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Shelf, Ariana Airwoods, and Sean Scott. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and to Xmorphic, who does all the amazing Discord server background work for us. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.